Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're back with the filthy Dark Elves. I'm going to be taking on our good friend Italian Spartacus. Oh, we just happened to run into each other on ladder. He's taken the Vampire Coast, so let's get to the army compositions. I've gone nice and wide here. Supreme Sorceress, Lore of Fire up in the air with Fireball. We've got the Flaming Sword of Ruin and the Burning Head. 5 Dread Spears with 4 Bleak Swords, 4 Dark Riders with shields. We've also got 2 Sisters of Slaughter hidden in the woods as an elite choice, and 3 Reaper Bolt Throwers. For Italian Spartacus Vampire Coast, we've got some Direwolves out to the flanks, some Fellbats, whole mess of zombies with dual weapons. We've also got some Depth Guard. Haven't seen these guys in a while, so we'll check them out here. Count Noctilus up on his Necrofex, some Deck Gunners, we've got handguns, as well as the Black Spot, a couple of polearms as well, and a couple mortars in the back, one of which just got, it's about to get wrecked by a fireball here. The only problem with this is I am going to actually forget about my Supreme Sorceress there, so we can see the fireball does come in, it blows up one of the mortars, but I'm going to forget about this Supreme Sorceress ever so briefly here, and this is obviously a huge mistake because just in a matter of seconds these zombie guns are going to start to tear her to absolute shreds. So you can see I've made a pretty terrible mistake here. I finally pull her back after noticing she's just about lost most of her health, but she goes down to about 800 HP there. We do get the burning head off, but I'm also making some other mistakes. I've got the multi-shot still on Count Noctilus, so it's not actually doing any damage. I'm going to get that switched in just a moment. Some hounds came around the side. Wasn't quite quick enough to react with the Dark Riders to save this one Bolt Thrower unit, but we should be able to save the other. Likewise over here, these 2 Dark Riders just cut through some hounds as well in the woods there. They're now going to try and push up and around and get into this back line here, but Italian Spartacus is going to do a great job in just staying calm and immediately just unleashing hell from the high ground, and you can see these Dark Riders are just going to start to get cut down by bullets, cannon fire, just all of the above. It's going to be a very, very brutal situation. Meanwhile, mortars dropping bombs over here. These Depth Guard are now going to get surrounded by Sisters of Slaughter and by Bleak Swords on the other side. This is actually a very good engagement for me. Because Sisters of Slaughter have poison and very high melee defense, they can stand and hang with Depth Guard actually quite well. Likewise, we're going to get this unit of Sisters of Slaughter moving over to the other unit of Depth Guard over on the far side. So you can see Balance Power isn't looking great for me at the moment. We've lost a lot of Dark Riders. The Supreme Sorceress did come back from routing, thankfully, but she's down to only 600 HP. So she's in a little bit of a rough situation, but we do still have 2 out of 3 Bolt Throwers online. And they are going to be firing, finally, the anti-large type shot out at Count Noctilus, starting to chip away at him. And it will take some time, but if we just stay patient and are able to protect the Bolt Throwers, they should do some good damage over time. Another nice fireball there as well from the regrouped Sorceress, so definitely not out of the woods yet completely. You can see the Dark Riders starting to get up and around the flanks here, this other kind of group that was helping to secure the Bolt Throwers. One of them is going to get into this zombie gunner mob, and this is not the Black Spot, so they will suffer pretty badly. The other unit of Dark Riders is going to get in here to the Deck Gunners, and the Deck Gunners, because of their very low HP, will crumble very, very quickly, so generating some great value there. Noctilus trying to provide some Overwatch fire, but not going to be enough. Those Deck Gunners just crumbling away almost immediately. Another fireball coming in, lands a solid hit there. And you can see the mortars just kind of firing willy-nilly here. Looks like they're going after the Sisters of Slaughter, which 1 or 2 good hits could pay off. But you can see the Depth Guard over here is gone. This Depth Guard's not doing great. That being said, a bombardment from Count Noctilus brings the Supreme Sorceress down to 171 HP, so she is extremely low on HP at this point. But some Dark Riders did finally get back and get into this mortar. We're able to crumble away the crew there before they're routed off by the polearms. So definitely some give and take. The Arnsapal's Black Horror, unfortunately, does just barely clip the end of that unit. I was hoping I could get more, but that's the bound item that the Supreme Sorceress has, who is currently routing once again. It does quite a bit of damage. If it is pretty slow and it has a long spin-up time, but it does do quite a bit of damage if you can get good contact. Unfortunately, I didn't get the best contact there, but still did some damage. These other guns are crumbling. You can see Noctilus getting very, very low from the Bolt Throwers, so what initially had seemed like a pretty bad situation, we were able to kind of get it turned around there and start to bring things back. Bleak Swords getting in here. You can see the Sisters of Slaughter cutting up these polearms without too much issue at all. they're going to be just fine fighting in that pocket there. Noctilus looks like going to get one more fireball. Nope, actually just hit the tree point blank right in front of the sorceress, so that was great. But yeah, Dark Rider's being chased off. Finally, the other depth guard goes down there, and it's just a matter of time before we cut through the rest of this infantry to get at these squishier units here in the back. Dark Rider's going to come around to try and interrupt. They are going to get gunned down to a man here by the black spot, but, you know, typical fate for a Dark Rider. What can you expect? Maybe they're going to get gunned down, maybe not. There we go. That's what we were looking for. Yep, they are just completely wiped out there. Mortars opening up. Yeah, have gotten some good hits so far. The only thing about the mortars is, yes, they can get some good damage done against light armor units, but they're just so inaccurate. Their refire rate really isn't that great at the end of the day, so I'm not the biggest fan. But this fireball should be able to make some contact here with Count Noctilus. Hits him right in the ankles. And those bolt throwers continuing to just plink away there. Black Spot trying to secure, but you can see the Dark Elf forces, just the inexorable push of Druki infantry here. Yeah, Sisters of Slaughter having a grand old time, just finishing off those pirates. They're immediately going to switch over to the pole arms here. Get a nice little dodge roll, little whip. Bombardment from Noctilus comes down. We've got a mortar hit in there as well, so they're definitely taking some damage. But yeah, those deckhands are going to crumble very, very quickly. And at this point, the Dark Riders are moving in to finish off this last mortar group here. And we've got another fireball and the bolts flying in to finish off Count Noctilus here. So very cool cinematic shot as Noctilus tries to hide behind the tree. Unfortunately, that fireball does catch him. And quickly approaching critical army losses here as the Dark Elves are just kind of chilling. At this point, though, the Supreme Sorceress is down to only 60 HP. She decides, you know what, I've done my part. I'm going to go back to camp and enjoy, you know, butchering some slaves or something. So, yeah, Noctilus goes down, and that's going to lead to the end. So, very well played to Italian Spartacus. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that one. Super fun battle. Definitely a big mistake by me, almost letting get my Supreme Sorceress get killed, but credit to Italian there. Very heads-up play and paying attention that I was making that mistake and punishing me pretty hard for it. Fortunately, it wasn't quite enough at the end of the day, but if he had been able to finish off that Supreme Sorceress, he definitely would have taken that game from that point. It wouldn't have had as much to take down Noctilus, and yeah, I mean, the bolt throwers would have been okay, but I would have started having leadership issues as well, so yeah, fun stuff. And a little bit of a hang up here on the end, but we'll get to that, get to the end screen in just a moment here. There we go. Awesome. So yeah, in terms of the army breakdown there, you can see the low tier troops, just the low tier spam for the Dark Elves, working out quite well. This is actually how most factions do well against the Vampire Coast in my experience, is you just bring a lot of lower tier units with a few heavy hitters, like these Sisters of Slaughter. They can come in. They do have a small missile block chance. It's nothing significant, but they can get in there, get some good work done against lighter infantry. Even against Depth Guard, you saw there, they handled just fine. I would definitely say that, yeah, they're a very solid choice in this matchup. Dark Riders with shields, pretty cheap, you know. Cavalry can be a risk sometimes against the Vampire Coast, but it's definitely useful to have some. A couple units there racking up quite a few kills, 74 and 102, not bad at all. Bolt Throwers also doing quite well. Lots of kills across the board for the Bleak Swords and Dread Spears, which you would expect against zombies. And the Supreme Sorceress somehow surviving to the end there. For Italian, Depth Guard doing quite well, cutting through a number of units. The Black Spot, just such a good unit for defending the back line. Unfortunately, they weren't able to defend the deck gunners quite long enough. I'm actually not the biggest fan of these deck gunners. I think that they can struggle to be cost effective, and they're just so squishy. I would rather take you know, other units, I would think, but actually they did okay here, but the Black Spot definitely did quite well. The mortars were a little bit of a rough pick, and the mobility, getting shut down by the Dark Riders, was definitely a pretty key engagement as well, just losing out the scurvy dogs and the bats and so on. So, yeah, very fun stuff, though. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. I'm keeping it coming with more Dark Elf and High Elf content, you know, intermixed with other factions as well. I'm getting pretty close to being done with the overview of the High Elves. The overview of the Dark Elves I think is going to take me a little bit longer because there's a little bit more nuance there, but stay tuned for both of those very soon. Hope y'all enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.